I won't. You could tell me when, but hey, come on.
It's crazy. but look, you can tell me when it's crazy.
It's better than I'm
play,
gonna make your
so
money
we play
hot.
pause in here a lot. Like this is I got here what we play.
Oh, I got something great about that.
That's just how we play it.
Can I please tell the people how you was acting yesterday?
On what?
So your show will be out by then, right?
Next
Yeah.
Thursday.
Be
So
out by
yes.
then.
So your new Amazon show, they are over the top on taking care of Wayno. They're literally making us be in here for 7 hours the day before again, over and over.
Right.
And the guy gets on, very nice guy named Hank, who I actually really like.
Hank is my guy.
And he goes, Wayno, we're so glad you're here. This is great. And all we need you to do, Wayno, is we need you to just take the microphone, grab it, put it a little bit closer to your mouth.
Oh yeah, he went crazy. He said, yeah. He's like, put it close to your mouth. Yeah, it's right there.
No,
Yo, he didn't say it like that.
Right there. That's
He was like, right there. That's it. Perfect.
Because he's trying to, for
Hey,
context,
motherfucking
everybody.
yo.
He's looking at Wayno at 5 angles. We have the camera, like bird's
Right.
eye view, whatever. And one of the shots, it was blocking his mouth.
Hey yo.
No, it was so funny because you should have seen my face. Yo. He's like, because you know who he sounds kind of like? Remember when Dave Chappelle was like, you've got some nice New York boobs. Remember that? Like, he sounded like that.
He
So
has
was-
a voice that's so distinct.
It's mad
He
distinct.
must have done radio in his life.
He had to, but he was like, yeah, he's like, if you want, if you could, just pull a mic next to your mouth. he was like, oh yeah, it's
No,
A little closer.
Wait, but Wayno's face, mind you, there's like 8 people on the Zoom watching and making sure everything's right. I'm looking at Wayno like this on the other camera.
because I wanted to see if he was here,
We would
I would
have
have
cracked up laughing.
Cried if
I
Eden
know.
was here.
I
yo.
already know.
We would have cracked
Yo,
up
I
laughing
was
immediately.
dying inside. I was dying. What's up with you?
It was, by the way, he called me today. And
Who, Hank?
yeah, and I love when, normally when we're doing like business deals, people will call me by my first name, but Weezy, how are you? Okay. And we are just doing a little tester right there. And Wayno, he's just the best, isn't he?
He's the guy, ain't it?
See, I pride myself on listen, you have to treat people nice, man.
You do treat people really well.
Then
you
he had
know
the
what?
nerve to tell him, because he was like, Wayno, if you want to go outside and take a moment and just chill. and Wayno goes, I'm not like a rapper. I can sit around for a minute. It's cool.
Yeah, because all rappers, if you tell a rapper, like, look, you could tell a rapper, like, listen, you going to get paid $100 million for this. All you got to do is be there on time. The first thing they're going to say is, when do I get to leave? The first thing they're going to say is, can I smoke? They go like, I can smoke in there? Like, then they're going to be like, all right, so when it's over, you motherfucker, I will sit for 100 hours straight for $100 million if I had to. I'm speaking metaphorically.
100%.
But I'm just saying, it's like, for me, I'm like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. Like, y'all all here for me. Of course, I'm gonna do whatever y'all need me to do. Like,
I know. It is really crazy when you just think about all the things you've done and what leads up to the moment. And I know you had this Amazon show coming, but just to sit there for a moment and know that, like, we all had to be 6 hours early when talent gets there, because I'm normally on the other side.
Right.
It was just like, wow. And all these people just getting it ready and making sure they like it, but don't want him there too early because they don't want Wayno to have to sit around. Like,
right.
When you really get to that point to where it's such a big production.
I'm at that point.
Yeah.
Stop pretending like you're not.
No, listen, bro.
You know how
we
many
had
people
to
were mad
test
at the comments
5
about
camera
that?
angles with me sitting there to make sure Wayno may like them. And I was like, okay, well, I know Wayno will want his outfit. And then we'll need to get that shot then.
Yes.
But yo, I swear, like, it's so simple for me. All I need is to be there to speak.
Which is not taken for granted, by the way.
Huh?
It's not taken for granted.
I just, because my thing is like, I'm not a fucking diva. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to come in here and be like,
yeah, I don't think you're
Weezy, make sure that all my granola bars have glitter on the front of them before I
No,
open
he
them.
just could FaceTime me and say, I need a food pantry. We need a pantry.
Which there is one now. That's empty.
So that was kind of diva of you.
How is that diva?
That was
of
diva?
me? You know, mad people, when I reposted it, mad people was like, oh, you spoiled. I'm like, how am I spoiled? Just
No,
because
I
I
thought
want
it was
some...
funny. But also, to be fair,
What?
you did say the word pantry. It's a studio.
A pantry is just a location where you set
Nah,
food.
it's not, my nigga. He said a pantry. And then I had the nerve. I Googled cabinet. I said, let me get a plastic bin. The fuck?
Right.
They need a pantry.
He didn't mean a whole room.
Then I'm sitting there looking up what do I think Wayno would like to eat? Wrap snacks?
Rap snacks.
No, but I told you, Rap Snacks
I know.
sends me a bunch of stuff.
What do
Rap-
you like to eat for snacks?
Nah, avocado.
I don't eat no fucking avocado.
Why?
It makes me throw up.
He's like allergic to
wow.
avocado, Hikey.
Yeah, I think like the only synopsis I could give myself off of
I just
avocado
feel
is
like
that.
Wayno throwing up.
That's not funny. Why the fuck is that funny?
Because that'd be
Throwing
weird.
up
Because
is
you're
so
so calm and
funny.
cool.
No, but look, but she make it look
Like avocado.
Just 5 minutes ago, we was mad and sensitive about her silly ass.
I don't think we were insensitive.
That was.
No, I too want to throw up, but you don't think throwing up is hilarious?
It's not funny.
Nah, people
that
think
shit hurts.
not throwing up, farts and poop are hilarious.
Farts is funny.
Throwing up is hilarious. Like when someone's not like in the hospital. Sorry, I just saw a kid throw up 2 days ago.
No, you know what was really funny?
kid.
Did you ever see what Designer was performing? He threw up on stage.
No.
No, this shit is dumb funny. Like he was, yeah, bring that shit up, yo. Like Designer,
Bring it
like
up.
he was like performing, and he just like he threw up, but he threw up so fast, it's like nobody noticed. Like it's just like you know how a person just spit. Like he threw up, like he just was like, and just kept dancing. Like I was like, oh, this nigga's crazy.
Yo, I'm only crying because
That's it.
I almost threw up on a nigga a few weeks ago.
That's the see.
What do you mean?
Wait, skip
tell
the
y'all in a
ass, skip
minute.
that, bro. Look at this. Look at this.
Get the ass, bro. No shit, Wayno. Damn.
Look. I don't even think this is the wait. Yeah.
No, it is. It's just gonna show
Oh, that's
dump
just a
fast.
different shit, right?
Come on, there you go. All
Look,
right,
look,
ready?
watch this. This
No,
is tears,
you really-
yo. Watch this. Watch
Vomits
this.
on stage.
Watch,
Panda,
look,
that's the
look.
hit.
Look. Wait, no, that
Oh,
ain't
okay.
it.
I guess not.
I think he got his shirt off when he vomited. I just remember this video.
I think he got his shirt off when he vomits. Well, good for
There you go.
everybody else. Bruh.
Oh, there you go. Oh, wow. How did you? Okay.
Wait,
Oh, because you saw the clip.
watch. Yeah, I seen this before. Look.
Look how
Watch your
fast
thought.
he's
Like-
shaking his. Oh,
No. That was crazy. That was crazy. Yo, that wasn't crazy.
That was. He's like, but he's. You know what? Why do you shake your head like that so much? Of course you're gonna vomit.
Look.
He's like, oh.
Wait. It looks like baby throw up.
Yo, he act like he gonna keep performing like that
Yeah,
shit
no,
never happened.
talking about, look at his boy. Look at his boy. He's like, shit. Oh, hey. He's, yeah.
Oh,
How do you react to that though?
oh God.
I would be dying laughing. I think I was. Wait,
Throw up
Was
makes
I
me laugh
there?
so much.
I don't think I was.
In any sense?
Oh my God, man.
Yeah, so we laughing at my pain because I don't eat avocados because it makes me throw up, and Weezy finds this shit.
Because
so
I just
funny
can never
that
picture
he's
Wayno
fucking
throwing
terrorist.
up. I can't picture
You're
him
too
bending
calm and
down on his
cool.
knees to throw up. Pause. I don't know how.
Hey.
What is the position that Wayno would throw up in? Is genuinely.
I think arm on stomach and then throwing up.
Y'all really having
What's
a
a
debate
real
on
nigga
how
throw
I
up?
Yeah.
I don't consider myself a real nigga. So
What?
Yeah, I don't. I don't. You'll never hear me say that about myself.
Fine. What's a cool cat throw up?
A cool cat.
Because you're cool, so it's just like, how would you?
You don't see it. The fuck? Y'all not supposed
That's
to see
true.
me
We wouldn't
throwing
see
up.
it. He's right. We wouldn't see it.
This is what we talking about.
I feel like Wayno don't even want to make the noise.
Growing up.
Like the
Yeah, can you hurl?
because it's the dick tuck noise.
Oh,
What?
see, now you switched
See,
it up.
now she going too
No,
far.
I'm just
Now,
saying.
look,
as
we were
someone
fine.
who's
Nobody
done
said
both,
nothing about
suck
dick. Why does
and throw up.
Let me ask you a question. Yo, why does everything? Now, I wouldn't say everything because we've had mad conversations that don't like this. But why do so many conversations you always end with a dick or
First
a
of all,
vagina?
you're already thinking it. When Hank said put it closer and you had to pause.
I wasn't thinking about.
It's not- see, it's not a
exactly
dick.
like
Right, but
I wasn't thinking about the mic being a dick in my mouth or something like that.
but
Like
it's just even saying that it could have been close. Look,
It
as
just sounds suggestive.
it's funny.
For example, you like music,
Yes.
so you talk about it a lot. Everyday Struggle was your show about music and culture.
Yo, I had
Okay.
to cover my mouth because I almost spit all this fucking water. Because when she said that,
Panda.
when she said that, I just thought because she said because you like music and you talk about it a lot. So all I heard in my head was
Yeah, like-
I like dick. That's what I talk about.
Dick, 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 dick.
Dickelodeon.
That's really, yo, if I opened an amusement park, it'd be called Dickelodeon.
Okay.
And we would ride different kinds of theme
Dicks.
rides.
Oh.
Like, you know how in Universal, the Back to the Future, the big screen,
Mm-hmm.
and you're basically going out into outer space? You would like go into the sperm and follow the journey into
Damn.
the like I think it'd be fun.
a lot of
It could be
anatomy.
a sex ed amusement park.
Yo.
Did you not expect this?
I don't never know what to expect. Listen, me and Weezy conversations,
Really be about work.
that's all we talk about, yo. That is all we talk about.
It'd be 90% work and 10% talking shit.
Yeah, because we do be laughing mad shit.
Yo, and sometimes when shit be going on and I see Wayno call me, because it's very rare, unless it's some studio stuff, I'll be like, I already know.
Right.
You seen da-da-da-da? I'll be like, these niggas wildin'.
How's your day going aside from all the messiness?
Period stuff.
Good. I'm getting adjusted to traveling a lot, but I think it's fun. But
You like traveling?
no, I think it's fun to like work somewhere new, but like, no, I don't like staying in hotels as much.
Me neither.
It's in the beginning, it's cool. It's like room service.
It's cool for people who don't do that.
And right. And now that's a real thing. No, like now I have a crib in LA to stay in. Like I can't. No. I said to stay in. I didn't say I got a crib, nigga.
I have a crib in
I'm doing
LA.
a house swap with a friend who's in Miami.
Okay.
And him and his wife are leaving. He was like, you can take the house. I was like, are you sure? Like, you know when you're going to take it.
Right.
But you just want to. And they got the car. He drive a nice little Lexus. I'm
Nice.
like, I'm going to put gas in it. But anyway, like, no, I really am not comfortable traveling so much because I feel like I can't build roots here. I want the studio to be great. I love being in here with everybody. And like,
Your roots are
really,
here.
like, you know what I really notice about Weezy is like, yo, she's mad dedicated.
very.
Like, it's like, you don't usually see a person that's talent as dedicated on the back end or the other side of shit. Like, when I came in here the other day, I was like, I wanted to say, what are you doing? Like, you're here fixing cameras and shit. I'm like, the fuck is you doing? You ain't supposed to be doing none of that shit. But it just goes to show how I'm trying to find like a cool word to say. It's poignant. What's that?
Yeah, it's a good word.
What,
Poignant's a
what
good word.
poignant mean?
point. Well, now
Yeah,
I
what
want to say
poignant
wrong.
mean?
In this case,
Is poignant a good word? I just want to. It sound cool, but I want to know what it means exactly. Because it'd be mad times where I be saying shit
I'm
and I've
trying to
used
figure out
words
the
that I don't
concept.
know what it mean, but it sounded fire.
oh, that's very poignant. You be like, people be like, isn't it?
You'd be like, yes, that is poignant.
All right, let me try to put it in simple words.
Right.
You know, Eden and Alex built the studio
Mm-hmm.
with me, basically pointing and lifting stuff as well when I could help, and ordering and clicking
Mm-hmm.
and getting food. Now, I want to be able to know that I could do all the things they do. Alex been gone for months.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Eden was the only person working here at first.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great that we're able to hire people, but what if they weren't here for a moment or whatever? Like, I want to be able to do the same things. And that's very important to me, is being able to know what everybody else does. It doesn't feel good that I
This
have
is your baby though, right?
I have to call Eden sometimes because I don't know how to click on shit. And that don't make me feel good.
Well,
Why?
y'all know I don't know anything.
I'm really nice to you about it too.
You're nice about it, but also I'd be like, damn, he off. I'd be FaceTiming him and then be in the bed like, hey, because he already knows some shit. Could just point it towards the computer.
Yeah, that is me. Yeah.
I'd be like,
Yeah, I get that.
and I think also it's a thing with like people that own bars or restaurants. Like, I don't think you should ever not get in there and clean
Right.
and learn how to
Right.
make a drink. Like, that's really what it is.
I get that.
Like, you may not be the best bartender in there, but like at least you know how to make vodka
Bartender.
soda.
I get that. I mean, like, I just see how, like, I don't want to say, oh, it's inspiring, because that's like some like typical shit to say. But I'm just saying, it's like just seeing you be on point. Like, Weezy was on the BTS of my show, like, it was her shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking about, like, really, hey, like, she's talking to Hank, like, okay, Hank. So, like, you know how Hank is talking to her. But she's like, Hank, so we're going to have
Hank?
Wayno sitting right here. We want to make sure that this camera angle is like, I'm like, oh, shit, I didn't know, you know.
And get the shoes.
Right, you got to make sure that you get my
But I just knew it was important.
Right.
And when you know your client at this point, also, it could be a little different with Wayno's show because, one, his podcast coming out of here, it wasn't a podcast that didn't start here. There was only one other one like that, and that was Brianda. But anyone else had a podcast, and they just started recording here.
This is the OG.
Yeah.
Wayno started it here.
Yeah.
We were all very much a part of that. So, like, if you're
Yeah.
doing...
Nah, y'all was going crazy. Like, when we first started, y'all
we was on Zoom calls, y'all talking about what this show was going to be about. And the nerve of this show to be nothing... We still don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck this
you know.
show is.
It's in its direction.
I mean,
right?
the direction is just life. That's how I feel about it, right? Because, like, I can talk to you about multiple things. Like, we can have, like, you don't talk much about sneakers, but if Weezy be like, are these cool? Should I put these on? And I can have a whole dialogue with her about that. But then I can talk to her about, like, damn near anything. But that's what I want people who listen or watch to feel like, that you can watch this, and while you might not know who's gonna be on this week, or if it's just gonna be me and you, Eden, you'll be able to listen. Right? It's like last week we had.
I was gonna say that's just like your last week.
Yeah, it's like we had Ruben Wills. Like, I really didn't know how that was gonna go. You know, I didn't know how it was gonna go. I never spoke to a person who was in politics before.
Right.
Have I? Nah.
Poignant politician.
Poignant politician. Yeah, I never spoke to some. So it's like, to speak to him, I'm like, it's so many people that was like, yo, that was actually a good conversation. I didn't expect it to be good.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that I don't. When you come in here, I feel like none of our titles matter. We just humans, just talking shit.
Yeah, we just talk.
You feel me? We talk about all types of shit, like
It's
UFOs.
human.
And,
That's why.
like, how you feel about you? Did you see that the
Yes.
government's gonna start? They not though.
The government's gonna what?
They're gonna start talking about all the UFO investigations, but I feel like that's bullshit too. They're not gonna get.
They're
like,
not gonna give us the TT.
They not like all this shit with you. We've always had access to like all of this shit, but it's like, all right, they black out 80 or 90% of what's in the report, right? They're not gonna unblack that out for us to see.
I feel like we can't handle it.
I think that they're only gonna say it because something's getting very real for them,
Ooh.
and so they want to be like, "Oh, we were transparent."
One alien leaked out.
Because they can't control it. That's what it is. It's like you can't control the shit, but it would change the trajectory of life as itself because people gonna start saying, all right, so if God just made everybody right here, then how the fuck these niggas get over here? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like where they came from galaxies away. How would you feel about that?
Are you cool with the aliens from like get go?
Yeah,
You cool with that?
only cool with it because like I don't think that it sounds so like I'm reaching here, but like racism. How am I not gonna be cool with like a certain like just because they
I'm not
exist?
jacking aliens.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're just
They're
they're
anti-alien?
people too, or whatever they are. You know what I'm saying? So like, how am I gonna be like, you shouldn't exist? We supposed to lock these niggas up and shoot them down? Like,
Well,
what
we're
the
not
fuck?
locking any of
I
them
didn't
up.
I didn't think that was gonna be like that.
But see,
But I don't know if they've been caged or if there's like aliens somewhere or what they even
niggas
look.
can't be nobody that could have a plane or a vehicle that could go down into the water, come out, you flying this way and you can only fly this way, can come up, go around you, and then take off going that way, can be locked up. It's impossible. You ain't locking nobody like that up.
They'll probably lock us up.
I don't think they like. Did you ever
I'll
hear
tell you right now.
But did you ever hear the theory about?
That's when I start trying to get it in with an alien. Like, listen,
But did you ever hear the theory about how aliens, what we think are aliens, are not aliens? That they're just like robots in the ship.
What do you mean?
So there's a theory that like, because everybody thinks when they think of aliens, they think of like the grays with the big heads, the little guys with the big
Big
heads,
eyes.
Big eye, yep.
low mouth, no genitals and all that shit, right? That they aren't beings essentially, that they're basically fucking things in
They're
a
like
craft to
casing?
fly the craft. Like they're like basically like a battery
I see what you're saying.
to put in a craft to fly the craft. They're not actual things that are
Functioning, like
knowing
breathing.
and yeah, they're not breathing in. But there's a lot of theory. Who the fuck knows? I just know I'm not jacking them. I'm not
Me
jacking
neither.
them.
How I look telling white people, listen, we're here. Like it's like no, we got to be on some all live matter shit when the aliens come.
It depends on what type of time they on. Nah, it depends on what type of time they on.
Because imagine if niggas start acting crazy with aliens, like what we was saying. That's exactly what's going to happen.
No, I don't.
Oh, like would they be mean or?
Yeah, it depends on what type of time they on.
I think we're the only people that learn disrespect. Honestly, I have no faith in what.
But what if they have no? What if they have no?
What if it's like human nature to them?
What if
Or
there's no
alien nature?
emotion? What if they have no? What if there's like all of these personalized things that we live by, like rules, morals,
shame, feelings?
all that? What if none of that exists?
That's what I mean. I mean, who knows if they will?
Did you ever see Prometheus before?
No.
You know what Alien the movie is? Mm-hmm. So Prometheus is
like
the
the
prequel
prequel.
to
Yeah.
Alien.
Oh, okay, but I know the alien.
So the whole concept of Prometheus was like basically they went to this planet, however years it took them to get there, to talk to an engineer, because we have found out that we came from aliens, right? So we went there, and this guy who was a quadrillionaire built this ship to go there to talk to him about the secrets of life, because he was still there and he was living and breathing. The engineer, right? That guy.
Oh, I've seen that face.
Right. But when he gets there and he asks the engineer, he tells the engineer, he's very old, so he's like, yo, I want to live forever. Like, he just kills him. He just hauls off and kills him, right? But see, the whole concept of that is they built robots that were real, like humans, and then he asked them like, why did you build us? And he's like, because we can. Like a guy was like, because we can, and he was like, how disappointed would it be for y'all to find that out, for humans to find that out? Like if you went to whomever your maker was and it was like, like you think about everybody you love and all the spirituality and all this other shit, and you go to what could be a higher power in any other place, and you find out that they built this, and you was like, why did you create us? And it's like, we was bored on a Saturday. We didn't really feel like doing shit.
The only thing it would make me want, if I found that out, is that maybe I'd want to live life a little more lawless. Like
because there's aliens?
No, because if I just felt like it had no meaning to it.
Oh.
Like
you can't, but you can't do that.
I know.
Because you can still catch an STD. You can still end up in jail for the rest of your life.
There's consequences.
There's consequences.
But like, they're now made up. Like,
That's why I don't subscribe to that whole what's that shit? Live every day. Like live every day like your last. It's a cool concept, right? It's cool when like you want to bungee jump or some shit like that, right? But if you really live every day like it's your last, that's like
you are going broke.
Yeah.
You gonna go broke. It's a lot of bad situations you gonna put yourself in, right?
The one thing I will say about live every day like your last, I take it is in like don't just turn down moments, right? For example, like, you know, if a friend of mine maybe is in town and I'm really not in the mood, and they're like, yo, when are you gonna see me again? Let's do something together. Let's see each other. Like COVID even taught me that, like, I need to really experience more moments and have more moments with my friends, talk on the phone longer. I started saying I love you to people more.
Yeah.
Just like those things are more meaningful. So like that's really living every day. Like to me, it's
just hard to gauge how it goes, because you know what I had a moment like that with? I had a moment like that with Pop Smoke, right?
Really?
Yeah, so I only met Pop Smoke one time. One of my close friends in music, like we met each other through music, but like he really my friend. He was Pop Smoke's manager. So when I met Pop Smoke, like he told me that he would watch the show every day and that he fuck with me, whatever. But then like, you know, he becomes Pop Smoke and he has all this shit going on. And one day he reached out to me, he DM'd me, was congratulating me on a job I had got. And then he was like, yo, if you got some time, could you come to the studio? I want to play you my new shit. And I'm like I was doing EDS at the time, and like I got to get up so early in the mornings. Like once I'm in the bed, I'm in the bed. Like, you know what I mean? So I was like, yo, not today, but you know what I mean? I want to come through. And he was like, all right, cool, because I want you to hear some shit. So like that was that was the last time we spoke like that, and I never went. So I never got the experience of being, like, I'll be looking at all these videos of him in the studio with people and him playing the music for the first time he's playing Dior for everybody. And everybody's like, oh my God, this shit is amazing. I didn't get a chance. Like, I missed out on that experience just because I wouldn't say I was being selfish. I was trying to be responsible. Yeah. Because you know niggas is all like, you know that you get clowned on like, oh, this nigga's going to sleep so he can wake up in the morning and do what he's supposed to do tomorrow. Like people will laugh at you for that
They
shit.
do.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm like, yo, I need to take my ass to sleep because I got to do the show. I used to have to wake up at 5:45 in the morning to get out my house by 6:20 to make sure I'm on time to do this show 4 days a week. So I was like, I missed out on that moment with him.
That is such a crazy commitment.
Yeah. I mean, but it's like, listen, I'm only working, like, the amount of money I made working on that show, listen.
That's a lot of work right now. To get up for 4 days a week?
Listen, it is, but it's not. I'm going to tell you why it's not. Because I made a lot of money.
I was just going to say, when the checks are right, that's...
Bro, by the time by the time we're done, everybody's waking up to start their day. So I got my whole day ahead of me. The only thing that was tough about it was I couldn't travel 4 days a week.
That is tough.
That's the tough part. But other than that shit was lit. Like,
you know, I was saying to somebody recently, like, the way that Charlotte gets up, because you remember when the Diddy Love Party? Mm-hmm. So when I got invited, I was like, yo, like, I know it's going to be like bitches there I probably know from around the way, but like, I got to go with an industry friend. That way that I don't feel like, you know what I'm saying, I'm in this whole group. Because I am, but at the same time, they're going to fucking stick me with the Instagram girls and I'm going to be the weakest link. So I hit up Rory. I was like, yo, get up. We're going to this Diddy party. And he was like, I can't. I'm sick. I'm dying. I was like, fuck you. So I text Charlamagne all the time about work shit. Yeah. So I was like, yo, why don't you, I know you never go out. Just come to this Diddy party. I was like, be a bird with me. And he was like, yo, I got the show in the morning. Yeah. And I was really thinking to myself, like, even though he may have wanted to go, You got a commitment to be at that fucking station for years. Him and Envy got to be there so fucking early.
Yeah.
Get rappers and entertainers excited about being there at 6 a.m.
So early. Well, no, they don't get there.
They don't.
They don't.
I had to get there at 8 though, and they were all there.
Oh yeah, no, they. So I'll say like what kind of helped me with that is just being a parent, right? Like because it's days where like my son played ball, right? Like so, it's days where we didn't had to get up. I remember one time, this shit killed me. He had a game in like Delaware, and I was managing an artist at this time, and we had just finished a club at like 3 a.m. So I got home. Luckily, I was able to get a parking space at that time, but I got home like almost 4. And his game in Delaware was like at 10 or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So now I dead ass almost. I fell asleep for.
I was gonna ask if you fell asleep at all.
I fell asleep for like 3 seconds, like for real. And that, those ridges that's on the line, them shits is to wake people up.
Yeah.
So like I felt like I was driving, and then I just felt myself drifting. I was like,
Oh, they are, huh?
yeah, that shit is to wake you up. Because if you hear that,
Google what it's for.
no, it wakes you up.
Nah,
That's
but
what-
you're
that's
right.
what it's for.
Or
But-
it's maybe lets you know you had to be out of the room.
Yeah, because if you,
I don't know if it's
if
like
you
a sleep ridge.
No, it's not. But if you slightly drifting, and you feel that you
Yeah, they alert distracted or drowsy drivers that are leaving the road.
Drowsy
Yeah,
drivers.
that's what it's
Wow.
for.
And or Wayno in this case.
Rumble strip.
No, absolutely.
That's
and that
literally-
shit.
Rumble strip, huh?
Because no bullshit. If that shit wasn't there, we'd have been on the side of the fucking road, flipped
That's
over
true.
somewhere.
Yeah.
But it was like I had so much discipline of and then I go like, or I'll take my son to another game, and he'll have a game at 9. It's been times where he had games at 9 a.m. And if you winning, then you staying in the tournament all day. So we win, and the next game is not till 12:30, and then the next game after we win after that is not till fucking 5:30 or 6:30. So we did from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and then got to drive home. We done did 9 in to 10 at night.
You don't be
in
drinking
AAU
coffee
ball.
or nothing.
You
Yeah, I
don't drink coffee?
Nah, I don't drink coffee.
What do you use?
I don't use nothing.
Juice?
Workouts, like what?
My mind, yo, that shit is
Tea.
my mind. If I got food in me, like if I eat something and I got energy, I'm good. But there's nothing that I need to make me go about my day.
I wish I was that person.
Same.
But unfortunately,
Yeah, I need drugs.
I need stimulants. I'm not gonna front. Like I don't take Adderall and shit like that anymore. When I had a 9 to 5, I did, and it was only because I was scared of not being able to make that money. I was like, what if they let me go? I got to be able to perform. Like that shit is really why I had to take it. And then when I wasn't, I was a lot more comfortable.
Question. So with you saying that when you had the 9 to 5, do you feel like because I see how important it is for everything you do here, and a lot of people who do listen to Hear Me Out are like aspiring entrepreneurs or people who want to, own their own business, etc. Do you feel that same like pressure of being let go or being essentially kicked out or put to the side with your own business now? Like
Yes.
you have to.
Because then everyone else wouldn't have a job.
Mm.
When it was just Alex and I talking about it, it wasn't that big of a deal to me.
Right.
Like I just had a conversation with Ian, master investor, right? Just like when someone had the questions that he asked you, and he said, why did I choose to take a stake in this business? One, partnership, right? Like I didn't have to take the financial stake alone. And Alex and I, when we bought all the equipment, granted it's really good and expensive, but he was like, if anything happened, the resale value on this is fine. We'll at least go even. We did something, we tried it, it's okay. We made sure to get the lease at a certain date correct, like just making sure it wasn't too long and in case anything happened. And to be able to sell the equipment and make your 30 G's back is great, right?
Yeah.
But now it's different because it's growing so fast. And now it's other people's jobs. And how the fuck I look being excited to employ Black people, and then it's just like, oh, you got to go back to the workforce. What the fuck? I want our money to grow, and I want everybody else's money to grow. Like that's really important to me because for years and years and years, I fought so hard to get a 3%, 5% raise. Like I don't want that to happen.
Which is a Metro card. I remember that,
It's sick.
But I think that like, of course, like I feel like all corporate America is some sort of form of capitalism, right? But for the people who are really, really, really at the bottom, like that shit is just such an uncomfortable position to be in. And I'm not saying that for nobody to not get a job, but I remember like I had a job working at a television station, and of course like it wasn't no glorious job. It was changing lights and changing waters and mailroom and like little logistic shit in house, right? But I remember getting a raise, and just like when I did the math, I'm like, this is $80. Like Like for real, I'm like $80. Like the fuck I'm supposed to do
and
it?
make you feel like you'd like it was the biggest deal of your life.
But at the same time, it's definitely corporate America is a form of oppression to an extent for how they hold you. Because when I was growing up, like especially when I got into music, because everybody always wants to know, well, yo, when you got into music, like, did you want to be a this or that? No, I just wanted to have a job. Like my mom was a person who, my pops was a nigga in the street, and my mom was always a person who always had a job or always had a hustle to braid somebody's hair or do some shit that she can make some bread, right? And I just was like, I just need a job. Like just give me a job. Just give me a job. Just give me a job. But keep it, the structure of the worker is to never like uprise the worker. It's like stay in this one place. And maybe after 20 years, you'll be in my seat, right? Like you start.
Don't say that. I had a boss say that to me before. Do another 5-8 years of this.
Yeah.
5 to 8 years, and then maybe I will have moved on, and you'll be doing this job. Like 8 fucking years.
You know what's crazy? I really don't knock like.
Damn.
I don't knock.
No, that's a long time.
If you think about 8 fucking years, yo.
No, bro.
Maybe?
This is why. So look, this is why I never subscribe to the whole life is short thing, because every time somebody says life is short, you can always think about having a long day.
Yeah.
Or having a long week.
Jesus.
Or a long month, right? So, like when it comes to like entrepreneurship and shit, right? I love the fact that we have like so many young brothers and sisters out there that want to go for it. The problem that I see is that not enough of them educate themselves about what they want to go for. So it's like, essentially there's another Weezy somewhere and she's watching what you do and she's like, oh, you spent X amount of dollars on them cameras, but she may not be knowing that she needs to work them cameras. You know what I mean? Like if you're telling a person like, yeah, I want to have you, people think that it's as simple as just getting the product.
Following the blueprint, you're saying?
Yeah, just following the blueprint, but not the, like, when you open an instruction manual and then you see the first thing in bold letters, and then you see all these words like this in small letters, and then it's the next bold letters, and then it's not, so many people don't follow that. It's just like.
This is such a simple concept, Wayno, but I just did this last week with something dumb. Mm-hmm. I watched a YouTube about makeup, and I couldn't figure out how to do it because I didn't have the time. Mm-hmm. I was like, let me just order the list of shit she got. I ordered everything she got. It came to $400 to get all this makeup.
Wow.
I sat for 2 hours in my house. I could not do it. I was like, oh, this is skill. This is not just this. You can't just fucking buy the list. That girl has millions of people and is making all this money doing this makeup because that's really what she does. Yeah, she told me what she did. But I'm not putting in those hours. I'm not doing in all this shit. She's been doing makeup for fucking 15 years. So how the fuck did I think I was really going to buy this list and look like that bitch?
But that's the problem. So this what I was like getting at was like, we have so many people that's like, I just want to do that, but don't want to educate themselves. Because it's like, also, the education construct, that shit is that's corporate America as well. Nobody talks about like how school is a job.
The last 5 years, we've learned that so much.
Yeah, no, that's
about how much you don't quote unquote need school. Now, I will say this: I didn't finish college and was making almost $200,000 a year in corporate America, and everybody used to be so confused. But it was commissionable jobs, and I remember one of the conversations that someone said to me when they wanted to hire me. He was like, what? You have all these accolades and you didn't finish college? He was like, I need something. I need you to at least get an AA. It was in BET. It was at BET. I need you to have something because all it means, I was like, but I've done all this work. He's like, all it means is that you could complete something. And that's all they want to see here.
That's crazy though. Like
literally verbatim the words of the man that wanted to hire me.
But see, I went through that too because look, I'm a high school dropout and I've made $150,000 off of one move. Just one. Once I made $150 off of one move, and it wasn't no move that took 8 to 10 to 12 months. It was something that I made happen in like 3 months. I'm like, I could do that 10 more times, right? But it's a lot of work that goes behind that for me to be in that position. That's the point I'm making is like, there's not enough conversations about what it takes because now everybody got it. One thing I say about like the last year, with the whole PPP loans and all this shit. Listen, they say that you can't knock the hustle, right? Which I don't knock how nobody eat. But a lot of this shit is just thievery. It's not hard to steal when somebody's not looking. Mm-hmm. So the thing about it is that if you taking whatever you taking when nobody's looking, eventually somebody gonna look. But beyond that, you're not gonna know how to handle what you're getting because you didn't have to work for it. So I go to the jeweler, and I might go to the jeweler and I go look at me a watch that cost me like a nice $40,000 or something. And it's a fucking 17-year-old kid buying a watch that costs $100. Right?
That's so insane.
But guess what? They're gonna miss, like, because I'm also not one of those people that's like, you should take that money and invest in a business, because everybody's not meant to run a business.
Yeah.
So like everybody's not meant to run a business, but I'm just like, dog, not enough people are educating themselves about what you gonna endure in life. Like if you think about being, I wouldn't even say 18, because you know the marquee numbers is 18 and then 25 and then 30 and then 35 and then 40. No, 17 and then 28, or you know what I mean? Like your life is gonna be so much different between those 11 years and all the things that you're gonna endure. If you don't take your life serious, it ain't even about having any material possession or having money or nothing. You just might not be in a position to live. Period.
There's something you're saying about knowing what you want. And this is why I feel the way I feel about title changes, right? Mm-hmm. So one, everybody won't work here forever. Right? Maybe they will, maybe they won't, who knows? But what I do know is the reason I don't think I was able to propel in corporate America fast enough, it was because of my title. Like the title wasn't changing. It was just exec, and I was just turning into another strategic exec, government exec, sales exec. Then it wasn't moving fast enough. So the one thing I was like thinking about recently that I've been talking about with friends was like, whenever someone gets a raise here, I want their title to change. Because if they go somewhere else, that shows they had growth. And then that shows that like, oh, that person did that for you in 3 to 6 months. Oh, well, that must mean you're really good. And so I think that if people have what's next in mind, then we know how to move. And also for anybody that has a job anywhere, you need to be talking about that, because LinkedIn, not even kidding. Talk to a friend who works in, not HR, what's the word? Recruitment. Mm-hmm. She was like telling me how literally she had to just search for one title, and the word was head of. It could be anything. She had to put head of in quotation marks and just like the year that it happened, or transition, the duration. Mm-hmm. They could have been head of the fucking bathroom. And that's what the title she looked at. And so I was like, oh, that's it.
So you're creative. I want to know, like, did it burn you up? That's another thing. Like when you working in a regular 9 to 5 or whatever, did you sit there for yourself and be like your mind is doing fucking jumping jacks and cartwheels and backflips, and you like, I can't fucking sit here?
So I have a few feelings about it. Mm-hmm. I always say, and it's funny because Mandy and I go back and forth with it a lot when we do interviews together, but like 9 to 5s don't scare me. And I really believe it's because I know how to work the system. Right. I'm going to have insurance. I'm going to have a paycheck consistently. Right. But there's another thing. I'm attracted to commissionable jobs because I know they give you more free time off. Like if you got to go on meetings and do shit. Yeah. And I'm not forced to make one thing. So when I had a 9 to 5, I would basically have to do like, I would buy, sell tech, disaster recovery software, cloud. We might have to buy that one day. I might have to call my old people, right? Sure. Zoom, we buy shit on cloud. Yeah. Because what if Wayno's clips, he loses them or his computer dies? We got to get him his shit back. Right. So it's like you have to buy cloud shit. So I would basically sell that to big companies. And like sometimes I just peace out for the day because I wouldn't let them niggas from me. I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna go have a conversation with so and so. Oh, absolutely.
And look, she threw a corporate voice on.
Yeah, absolutely. Triangle offense. He's amazing. He's a personality, but I mean, it looks like he's looking for an actual physical location. So we're gonna figure out how to get cloud stuff. I mean, he's got rappers and stuff, music. I don't know. It's got to go somewhere. And nigga, I'm taking 4 hours off and I'm out. And if I know Wayne, I'm be like, yo, I'm gonna send you an invite. And then they be like, what happened next week? I'm be like, I don't know, but I got this one. I take all the time off I wanted. That's why I wasn't too scared of the 9 to 5. I was trying to just basically live my life with the 9 to 5. And I have a friend right now who's working for a startup and is struggling because like they require so much shit. Yeah. But if you can get that lit job for a big corporation and just don't have to be chained to the desk, just try to work like 25 hours a week. That's really it.
I feel you.
What was that moment where when you were doing like horrible, that you were like, all right, I'm done?
When people started to recognize me. Only because horrible was moving like this and my job was moving like this. Oh, you can have this in 8 years. But in horrible, I was like, we went from 10,000 listeners to 30,000 listeners, then 50,000 listeners, then this much. And now it's to the point where I'm walking a block away from my job and they know who I am. We did an HBO documentary. that got people knowing who we were, Viceland, and it was like, oh, this is moving fast, and my job is proving it's going to move slow. So I might as well just take a stab at this because I'm only going to be young and fun for so long.
Right.
And then the 9 to 5, I'm always going to have that skill.
Right.
Because I never want to be the reality star that's fucking working at Walgreens now because she thought she was too cool to go back to work or do anything.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that.
Yeah, you can't be too cool for nothing. Like that's one thing. Like I got a lot of that from my mom because I seen my mom have like so many different jobs, and then like my mom I remember when I was like 8 or 9 years old, my mom used to make clothes and shit, right? And this is like this is what made me like lean into becoming who I wanted to be, because one time I asked my mom, like my mom used to do fashion shows. I remember one time my mom and her friends did this fashion show, and I remember them spending so much time on it. My mom sewing all this shit and doing all this stuff. And I remember like going to the fashion show because she didn't have nobody to watch me and all that. And I asked my mother, I said, Ma, why you never like kept going with your clothing stuff and all that? She was like, I had to take care of you and your sister. And I thought that was the saddest shit I ever heard in my life.
I know.
That was the saddest shit I ever heard in my life, because I didn't give up on what I wanted to do because I had children. And the thing was, it was like, I feel like for the generations over us, my mom had me when she was 21, but to be a creative was almost like, even still to this day, you kind of look at
people call me that.
What, a creative?
No,
but I'm just talking because creative, no, for real, because the creative industry is where we make our money. I only say that because that's the term for it, the corporate term, right? Because that's some corporate shit. But at the same time, it's like to tell somebody that this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm not going to school for none of it, but this is what I'm gonna do, is like aliens landing on Earth, like the furthest thing from your mind. So I just thought that when my mom told me that shit, I'm like, damn, she had all these fucking dreams, and it's like I felt like me and my sister fucked it up. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, damn, like we kind of fucked it up for her. You know what I'm saying? Because like she had me at 21, she had my sister at 31, and I'm just, I you know what I try to think about now, like having the empathy of thinking about who, like once you reach these ages, who your parents were at that age. You know what I'm saying? Like who your parents, like what they would think and how they would feel. Because I can remember who I was at 21.
You say that. My mom had me at 40. And she says all the time, like, because I get very angry sometimes about having to take care of my parents. And when I say take care of, I don't even mean money all the time, more than like just little things that they just can't get together because they owe.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Or I remember even like health-wise, like my mom had a pacemaker put in. If no one knows what that is, it's when your heart has a hard time beating on its own.
Right.
Yeah.
So they put a little battery in there to like help it push.
Yeah.
I might have been in the 6th grade and no one could understand what it meant. And I was not embarrassed, but I just didn't understand. Like nobody gets it. Now when I meet people, I'm in my 30s, I might meet a man who's 40, they get it. People grasp this concept. But my mom says all the time, because I guess it's really the trade-off. I got to live my whole life, and then I had you. I traveled, I did this,
right.
I did whatever the fuck I wanted, and then I got pregnant. And she's like, so I didn't really miss anything. But now I have friends of mine who are like, oh my God, they got FOMO, or they had a kid young, and they feel like they can't do something, or they're missing out. And my mom really didn't go through any of that. And I wonder, like, is that smart? Should we be having kids later? Because now, a New York Times just said women are having children later and later in life because they're pursuing careers. And I've been having this conflict with myself.
Yeah.
Like, am I too late?
I mean, of course, I can't speak for a woman's perspective at all, but I can speak from being my mom's only child for 10 years and her having me at a really young age. And I grew up in a household with nothing but women. Like, honestly, like, I hate to see, and I'm not knocking nobody because a child is a blessing, right? But like, I'm not knocking nobody, but I hate to see a young girl get pregnant. I hate to see that, only because I be thinking about all the shit she gonna miss out on. Like my oldest daughter, 19, I be telling her like she's in college, she in an Ivy League school. She wants to go to she's going to medical school. I think her plan is for her to be where she wants to be is by the time she's 27, right? So I'm like, listen, I'm like, no babies. You know what I mean? I'm like, no babies. I'm like, only because I'm telling you, don't divert from your plan. Not that you can't still pursue your plan, but it's gonna become tough.
Right.
Like
Financially,
by 27 especially?
Mentally, a lot of different things. But like even for
8
myself,
years.
like, so the era I grew up in was like everybody felt like if you had a kid, then essentially your life was over, right? So I thought about it like this, like when you young, you don't really understand the responsibility. Like, you don't understand the responsibility of being a parent till you become a parent. You just fucking, right? So it's like, you fucking, you having fun, and then when a woman tells you like, "Yo, I'm pregnant," that's the realest shit ever. That's the realest. As a young boy, the first time I got a girl pregnant, I was 18 years old. You know what I mean? And to hear that, I was like, oh my God, like my heart dropped. And my mom was like, I knew this shit was gonna happen. But the thing about it was, I was like, my mentality was like, yo, I'm not gonna, I know that we really young, but like, I'm not gonna let you go through no shit where I'm not gonna be taking care of my child.
Right.
Like, I was ready to step up to that plate, but that, I think subconsciously came from me not seeing my dad be too much around for my mom. So like, for me, I be feeling like, you know.
I always wonder that. Does that birth good fathers?
I don't know, like, well, see, I had my
having
dad.
a bad experience, right?
So I had my dad. I lived on, like, I grew up in the Bronx, and my dad was like 30 minutes away from me, right? But I didn't see my dad every day. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see my dad every day. My dad wasn't there the first time I rode a bike and fell, and I had all these experiences with my mother. I didn't have these with my dad. So like, as I got older, I then started to resent my dad, because I'm like, nigga, I'm only 30 minutes away. So I'm like, why am I not with you more? And then as a kid, you don't like, I don't know what relationships is between a man and a woman when I'm 9 years old and my dad said he's gonna come get me on Saturday and he never shows up. I don't know what y'all argued about or what y'all disagreed about, or if he's just doing, you know what's the craziest shit my mother ever said to me, yo? My mom said, it was one time, like, I lived on this block where it's a one-way street and you can see every car that comes down the hill. So my dad called me early that day and was like, yo, I'm gonna come get you. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm, you know, getting myself together, and I'm sitting there waiting for the car to come down the street, and it never comes. So I asked my mom, I'm like, Mom, like, but this was like maybe the 10th time this nigga had pulled this trick. So I'm like, yo, Mom, like, why he don't come get me? Like, I said, he don't love me or something. I was like, he don't love you? She was like, yo, my mother said, I think I was like 10. My mother was crying. She turned and looked at me. She said, you know why your father don't come get you? Because you're not a bitch and he can't fuck you. That's why he don't come get you.
Damn.
I didn't even know what that meant. Like, I was like, all right, like, but so as I'm getting older, this shit ain't no fucking puppy
Yes,
dog
it is,
story. No, it
'cause
ain't,
it's like,
because the thing about
women
it
get
is,
so hurt by men that they can't even help but
I don't hate my father, because my father, the empathy I grew from my father is that, and I'm not, when I say this shit about men, I will never excuse, like, I wouldn't give a fuck if I had 5 kids in Hawaii, 5 kids in the Bronx, and 5 kids in Compton. They will all love and know and be around each other. The thing that I learned about becoming a man is, as men, when you don't have, like, men always talk about women not having a support system of a man, but men don't talk about enough about a man not having a support system from a man, right? We think of it as, oh, you're gonna be tough anyway. When you fall, don't cry. I fucking cut my leg open. Of course I'm gonna cry as a kid, right? When you growing up as a man and you don't have a man to guide you, you start looking towards any man. Same way how women do. Like, men will be like, oh, and I said this a few podcasts, but, oh, she's a hoe because she don't have a father to tell her she shouldn't suck dick. Women like sucking dick. That's just life. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, I ain't gonna go there.
Thank God.
Right. But men, as we're growing up, we celebrated for all the things that's gonna bring us a tough life. Oh yeah, fuck mad bitches. You know what I'm saying? All right, but then you fucking all these women and then you get 2 or 3 of them pregnant and you a kid. You're not taught about like how you going to, especially if you're in the street. The streets is a whole nother monster when you don't have a man guiding you. For myself, when I was like, me trying to get into the streets was like a rebellion from my father, because once I got to a certain age, no, I didn't want my father to tell me that he was selling drugs or he was running numbers and everything my father did was illegal. But I wanted him to have some transparency with me as to what to watch out for. And he didn't. He just told me, don't do nothing wrong. But I'm not with you every day. And every time I come outside, the only thing that's making anything is something wrong.
Yeah.
So like as a man, like I said, I would not excuse a man's reasons as to why he's not in his children's life, because that's unacceptable to me. My father was in my life, but at the same time, it's like my father, he was a guy who was like, he was a good looking guy. He had money. And he was with it. Not every woman that's with you if you got money is with you with for your money, but some of them may be. You're not learning how to love nothing because you don't love nothing. The only thing I could say my father honestly loved might be his children. My father didn't really, he had love for his mother, but my father didn't he didn't fuck with his moms like that. Like my grandmother was a crazy woman from North Carolina that came to New York and had 5 kids, right? My father used to tell me like, yo, I guess they didn't have like abortions when he was like born, but you could drink something to get rid of the baby. He told my grandmother told him like, I tried to drink something to get rid of you, nigga, like for real. So my father, he's growing up in a household where he didn't know who his father is. He don't know who his father is. The only person he had in his life was his grandfather, which my great grandfather, his nigga's name was George Washington Clark. Yeah, for real. This nigga took care of everybody in North Carolina.
George Washington Clark.
That's his name. But he don't know his father. He got 4 other younger siblings. My grandmother is out in bars and doing whatever the fuck she want to do. He's fighting niggas for all that. So he not learning how to love no woman. What's different with me was I was the prince of all these girls. I had 5 girl cousins and then my little sister. And all of my girl cousins, I learned how to fight by fighting them. Like for real, we in the house, I don't have brothers, so we fight. I'm fighting my cousins, and I got 2 that's older than me. My oldest cousin, she like my big sister. She used that I'm older than you shit for real.
To beat your ass.
Yes, but I had to learn. But I had to learn how to. But then when we went to the same elementary school, we fighting everybody together. So, I had a camaraderie.
What kind of hood mind do I have that I'm like, this is so cute?
No, for real though, I had a camaraderie with my cousins. So as my cousins is now, they getting older and they getting boyfriends, and I'm seeing one of my cousins' boyfriends treat them a certain way. It make me feel a way about how any man treat a woman. You get what I'm saying? So as I got older, I start resenting my father on a crazy level because I'm like, all right, nigga, you getting all this money. Why is me and my mother living in a shelter?
Fuck.
For real, we had to live in a shelter system. If you, and out of all my father's baby mothers, there's 8 of us, all 8 different women, him and my mom was the tightest. Why am I going through, my pops made me like, out of all his kids, he made me like that one, that I was the one me and him was like this. So I used to be like, if all of this is like this, then why the fuck I gotta go through the shit I gotta go through? But he didn't know nothing about leadership as a man, because he never had a man lead him.
Yeah.
But and that's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to life and living, and these young people, there's not because then adults always make it seem like a person that's old, they make it seem like even though whether they had the best life or not, they don't really talk to the kids about, because it's grown people business. So they're not telling you about them being fucked up or being hurt see, your mom, she was a little older when she had you, so you had no choice. If you ain't making sure that pacemaker right, you ain't got no mom.
I know.
You feel me? So
and I think the kids, like, parents forget a lot of their responsibility because we're learning it from the parent before us, right?
Right.
Being open about health. And when I say health, when you have a parent who's fucked up, being open about shit like that. Yo, so-and-so be drinking. This is why you don't see them all the time. Like, I don't know if there is a rule book on what age you're supposed to communicate with kids on this shit on.
Well, there's no rule book. There's no rule book for parenting at all. I always joke. I make this joke about my kids being my roommates, right? Like my daughter, my oldest daughter, my son, even my youngest daughter. Like my youngest daughter she's the most emotional, but she's the only one that has my temper. Like she has I have a temper, like, and everybody knows me to be this nice guy, but I think like my Achilles heel of being a nice person is when I feel disrespected, I go to fucking 1,000. I don't care if it's an old lady, a little kid, the toughest nigga in the street, or the softest nigga in the street.
But that's nice people. I just had that conversation with Jamal Jamo.
Yeah, right.
He's my manager, and we were talking about how, and I don't know who's sweeter than Jamal. right? He's
He's a great guy.
so nice
guy. I
and
love
warm.
him. That's a great guy.
And we were talking about jail stories, and he was talking about a time he got arrested for hitting a dude that hit a woman in a bar.
Yeah.
And how he just like blacked out and almost smashed his teeth in. And I was thinking like, Jamal? But nice people explode like that,
Yeah,
man.
So like with my kids, especially like with my son, because he's the only boy in, it's two girls. He's my mother's only grandson. You know what I'm saying? Like it is because my little sister doesn't have any children. But what I try to like talk a lot with my son about is like I try to give him more shit than my dad gave me. So I'm a little bit more honest with him about things because I don't know. I'm gonna start going to therapy, right? But I feel like all of these great things that happen in my life, I don't feel like something bad has to happen with them. But sometimes I can't erase the idea of something bad happening, no matter how good shit is.
Because that was your lesson. We don't be knowing shit unless we touch the stove and find out it's hot. I could watch the stove being hot on TV and burning somebody else, but it ain't as bad as when I feel it.
Right. So it's like I be looking at shit like that quote in Black Panther when T'Challa told T'Challa like a man who hasn't prepared his children for his death is a man who has failed as a father. That's some real shit. Cause like, I mean,
yeah, it is.
Even when my dad passed, it hurt, but I was prepared. I was heavily prepared because like I had like, it's not just what I had achieved. It's just that like I had enough of this. Like I had enough of this to be able to say, all right, I'm gonna be able to handle all of this shit no matter how tough it gets. So like with my son, I'm not saying that because I give it to my oldest daughter as well. Like I talk to them about a lot of things in life because they still gonna make mistakes. They still gonna do what the fuck they wanna do. That's why, that's another thing I hate when niggas say. You ever see when men be like, oh, I'm gonna take my daughter to travel the world so she won't be impressed with your son's trip to Miami. So you think that you could take your daughter to Nepal or some shit,
Bruh.
and if she like some nigga, if she like this nigga,
She gonna lay up anywhere with him. Let me tell you
Exactly.
something. Something that you just said really triggered me because I've been having this conversation with friends a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The more money I'm making, the smaller the pool is. If I had to make it money.
Right.
Right? A lot of women want to be with men that make more or the same or whatever. Normally more.
Right.
And I'm just like, this ain't really about to happen for me, dog. Like, it's just not. So unless I'm like trying to like meet some industry nigga, blue tech nigga and doing all that shit. But at the same time, like even that money, let's just say I started fucking with an athlete. You can get hurt. Shit can go away. Like you may not always have that job. My things may have longevity. And I don't necessarily know if I'm as interested as I was. When I was fucking with niggas when I was broke, I loved the little Miami trip. What you mean we finna go to Barton G?
But I just feel like
But the truth is, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
My parents traveled a lot with me in the world. London, Paris, Israel, taking me to all these fucking places so I could see it for myself. And best believe when that first nigga was like, yo, you ever been to so-and-so? You ever been to Tampa? You ever been in a trap? No. I'm still wanting to go.
But see, I think that we got to stop putting these clouds over these things as if nobody will ever be interested in it, right?
The
Like,
only thing you can say though for your daughters, and in my belief, my dad always made me feel very beautiful, tell me how pretty I am, and be very kind to me. That's the one thing
so what I do,
that's interchangeable.
what I do with them all the time is, and this is what I tell my oldest daughter, I'm always telling her, make sure a dude respects you. I'm not talking about spending, because the thing about her is like, her pops is one of them niggas. So, you know what I mean? Like, she not worried about, my daughter gonna pull up with some $500, $600 Jordans on.
Yeah.
She gonna pull up with some $300 because she like to have nice shit for herself. So she's working for it. But what I always tell her is like, make sure a man walk you on the inside of the street. You get what I'm saying?
Of course, we
Make
all
sure
when you see your father do it.
Yeah, make sure when he call you, he say good morning. Or he text you good morning, not what up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, cause that's if there's a lot of dudes out here with tons of potential, they ain't got no fucking money. And they gonna be something great one day, and they gonna have everything on the planet. But if you ain't got no respect and you ain't got nothing, and that's respect for itself, watch how a dude talk to his mother. Watch how he talk to his sisters. If a dude talking to you and his mother about his mother, he be like, this fucking bitch. Oh, nah, get up out of there.
Yo, one of the worst experiences I had with a dude I was dating, wasn't him, his homeboy, who was in his 40s, 45, his friend of 10 years. I'm not even kidding.
I'm laughing at the years of like.
My dude was 43, his friend was 45 at the time.
Okay.
We're in Mexico. I talk about this so much to him because I cannot believe we got into it.
Yeah.
He's sitting there and the dude was like talking about his aunt, who was his age, nigga shit, and how she moved to Miami and he lives in Miami. And he was like, yo, she ain't hit me up when she came here. I could have hooked her up with a job. She asking all these other motherfuckers, this bitch get a fucking job and I could have put her on a minute ago. And she doing all this bullshit because she just don't want to ask me shit. And I said, this bitch didn't want to ask you shit. Look at you talking about her to another woman. I said, nigga, aren't you embarrassed to talk to me like this?
Yeah.
And then I got mad at my man. I was like, I know this ain't the first time you done called your family a bitch. I said, I know when I turn around, you called me a bitch in front of this nigga. I know there's no way. Your aunt is a bitch because she didn't tell you she was coming to a city and ask you for shit. And I wonder why she didn't ask you for a fucking thing.
I wonder why.
Yo, for months. Anytime he would come around, I'm like, I don't know how you fuck with him. What that nigga say about me? I already know he don't fuck with me. I know he don't fuck with me. Then he had a little chick come through. Mm-hmm. And mind you, we're all hanging in Mexico. He got a crib next to our crib. This is during quarantine time when I was living out there. And the girl was black, mixed, because he ain't never liked to go too dark. Of course, he that nigga. And I was like, I know I'm light skinned. I'm just saying. I still know when I can spot one. And I was like, yo, I had to tell her. I was like, I'm just letting you know because I like you.
Nah, you hate it?
No,
yes, I
You
did.
hate it? Oh,
I said, I'm just
man.
letting you know because I like you.
Right.
You need to watch out for this one. Make sure he
You need to
don't
watch
fucking
out
talk
for
to you
this
crazy.
one.
Because I saw him telling
Nah, I
her,
feel you.
get over here. Don't do this. Don't do that. And she was young. I was like, don't let him talk to you crazy.
Yeah.
Don't get scared of him. He ain't gonna put his hands on you. And if you need to come to our house, you let me know. 3 days later, we sleep, me and my nigga.
Nah.
Yo, he started screaming at her, and I really got offended that it wasn't my man. He never yelled at me, never put his hands on me. He was very kind. Great, comes from a great family. But you gotta watch who the fuck you be around, and if you can't check them niggas, to me that's a weak ass quality.
Absolutely.
I can't watch my homegirls treat their family, their elders, or their children like shit.
Yeah, you can't but see, that's the thing about, I don't know, yo. Like, my day is always better when everybody, I know I'm looking up, right? You don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. No, but my day, I was just thinking, that's why I was looking up. But like, my day is always better when everybody else's day is better. Like, me and my son was having this conversation the other day, and I was just telling him about, like, you know, if you want your day to go good, make sure you do whatever your mother say. Cause I'm like, look, if you do what your mother say, and you good, then I'm good.
I know.
Cause if you not good with her, I gotta hear it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, but that's just like, I'm not a person that's happy
wife in life, right?
But just in life though, I'm not a person that's happy all the time. But I'm also not selfish. I started learning things about myself because I didn't have like no siblings growing up. I was the only child. I had other siblings, but I didn't know them. So a lot of my years was spent within my own thoughts. So I used to talk to myself a lot. I still talk to myself now.
I'm an only child.
Yeah, but I'm my mother's first child, but that was until years later. So I did a lot of self-assessing. So I got to a point where I started feeling like if I'm having a bad day, like, you don't need to experience my bad day because I'm having a bad day.
You know what that's called?
What?
Emotional dumping. You can emotionally dump on somebody else. And I've tried to stop doing that because I'm so used to leaning on people when I need help. I enjoy that.
Yeah.
That like, when I'm fucked up, you can emotionally dump all your shit on somebody and it brings them down. Like, and we got to start kicking them friends to the curb. You know, one of my friends that does it to me, I'll tell you who it is.
Yeah.
And when she starts that shit with me, I'll be like, yo, I love you. Well, like, I'm not all the way there.
Yeah.
And or I got to be there for somebody else and I can't.
I don't be wanting to hear that. Like, you know, because this is the thing, right? I always look at shit, I wouldn't say on the bright side. I just always feel like I'm always willing to go through whatever I got to go through. That's one of the main reasons why I stopped fucking with the street when I was young. Because I was like, if I end up getting 20 years, I'm just going to do 20 years. You know what I'm saying? And then I started saying, doing 20 years ain't cool at all. So let me leave all the shit that's going to give me 20 years alone. Yeah. Right? But being accountable, I think that like even leading, right? Because you are a leader. But in order to understand leadership, you have to follow, right? And I don't subscribe to that don't be a follower thing.
Me neither.
It's impossible because it's like
You can't learn that way.
from the time you're born, you have a leader. Like, you know what I mean? Like everybody makes it seem like you're born, like people who think that born leadership think like, all right, you was just thrown into the fucking forest.
No, I think you could be alpha, you can be dominant.
right.
But you still
have to have examples, right? You got to have examples. It's like I had I did a Instagram live thing with Jay Prince and Mob Ties Jay Prince, right? So Jay Prince, he has this liquor called Loyalty, and basically the conversation is what loyalty meant to a person. So he asked me, he said, I want to know like what loyalty means to you. What's the first thing you think of? I said, my mother. And he was like, I never heard nobody say that before. And I was like, yeah. I'm like, when I was born, like it was just me, her, and my grandmother. You know what I mean? Like I lived in the same house with my grandmother. Me and my mother shared a room. My loyalty to my mother was the lesson she gave me, like, yo, don't let nobody, we can't be letting people in our house. We can't let people in our house if our house is not clean. We don't steal. So all of these things that I grew up knowing, that shit didn't come from the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like people like to paint this picture like you born and 5 years old, you outside selling crack. That's bullshit. And I came from a block that sold everything. That's bullshit. But I'm like, you learn, now it is people who are unfortunate and don't have their moms. You know what I'm saying? Those is different stories and isolated stories, and I would love to talk to people about those types of upbringings. But for me, loyalty meant like me and my mom sharing food. Like I be talking about how like, yo,
wow,
like growing up, like the worst shit I think I've ever ate growing up was probably liver, right? I fucking hated liver. But my grandmother used to make
a delicacy now.
I guess I'm never eating a fucking liver ever again in my life, right?
That's foie gras.
Who?
Foie gras.
Foie gras is
whatever.
duck liver.
But like I be talking like my kids would be like shrimp again, like you know what I mean? Like they be like shrimp, like we don't want to shrimp again.
Who said that? Was that?
What?
That was a comedian that said that too, wasn't it?
I don't know. But,
Dave, was it Dave Chappelle? He was like, ugh, do we have to have lamb? Or was it some shit
but
like
that's real shit though. Like my kids would be like, I want to like barbecue chicken, like you know. These is all things that when I was growing up was like, what? We get that? Like, so I'm just saying, it dawned on me like in more recent years. I was like, my mom said some shit to me about how she wanted to take me and my sister on a vacation one day. I was like, Mom, I'm almost 40 years old. There's nothing I could do that's only me. I'm almost 40. I'll be 40 next year.
That's what you said. I'm almost 40 years old.
Yeah, I'm almost 40 years old. I'll be 40 next year.
That's so cute.
Right? So I'm like, she's like, yeah, but I never, like me and my mother never been on a plane together, no shit like that. We never traveled together. And she was like, yeah, but I said, Ma, we was poor. Like the fuck, like we were poor. Like we could not afford
you
nothing.
You know my mom does that for my birthday every year?
What?
It pisses me off so much.
What takes you on a...
No, my mom wants to buy me a gift, but my mom be like technically needing to ask me for money for the gift, so she does it like 2 weeks ahead of time because I give my mom money every week. Like my parents get a very small amount of Social Security, and luckily now I can afford to give her money weekly, monthly. Right. And it's not like it's not enough. It's just that she wants more to give me a nice gift. Man, my mom was asking me money for weeks before, talking about, oh, it's for the car and the oil. I was like, ain't the oil change like $30? But whatever. She asked me for whatever amount of money it was, maybe $300. Mm-hmm. At my birthday party, I got this Tiffany necklace that I don't want. And my homegirl's looking at me like, girl, because she was like, I know you got yourself that gift. And my mom was like, I knew you was going to love it. I don't even wear silver. I was so pissed.
Yo, but my grandmother was doing shit like, my grandmother would buy me, what did she buy me last year? She bought me, my grandmother would always give me some shit I need. She bought me a knife set.
That's it.
I'm not getting rid of that knife set. Like, I love that knife set. You know, my grandmother, she no longer here with us, but like, she will always give me something that's like, but then my mom, you know, I want for my gifts. When people be like, what you want? Like, I'm at the point now, I be like, quiet. Like, I swear to God, I be like,
it's almost make me sick how rich that
except for my kids. No, except for my kids. I wild them up. Now I mess with them, but my kids do get me nice gifts. Like last year, I got AirPods. Did you give me the AirPods?
That's a good gift.
Yeah, he got me. My son got me AirPods. My daughter got me these expensive sweatpants that I love. Like
what kind?
John Elliott. John
Oh,
Elliott is
yeah,
one
yeah.
of my favorite menswear designers. Like, she brought me. I was like,
That's a good gift.
I was like, yo, I couldn't believe. Like, I was like, yo, you really went. You,
But see, what if you only got like $50? See, now for Christmas,
I don't care,
my
though.
mom just buys me this. Oh, I get so excited, and
Yeah.
she be laughing. I give my mom the most elaborate shit.
Right.
Like, I
Ain't no
gave her
Christmas in my
roses
crib.
with like $1,000. Like, I rolled them up like Cardi B did.
Yeah.
Cruises, vacation, whatever. And my mom got me socks, new underwear, but good underwear.
Yeah.
Like the cotton kind that you really need, the Calvin Klein kind, the
Yeah.
TJ Maxx 3-pack.
Right.
And I was like, but I ain't never gonna grab them. A good robe. And I was like, damn.
See, everything that I get bought is like something for somebody else to use. They always give me some shit like they give me UGG. I remember this one
Great.
year
I feel
I
like I know
wanted
where
these
this is going.
UGG slippers, and I got the UGG slippers, and then I'm looking for them. My wife got them on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I never get no shit that like is for me. Like, but most of the stuff that I want is shit that only I could buy anyway. So it's
I know.
like, but I don't be want. I really don't like. I really don't be wanting shit. It's like Father's Day is coming up. Like, I didn't even know Father's Day was this weekend, right? Well,
Last
by the
weekend.
time this last weekend, right?
Yeah.
But I don't even. I be cool, yo. I really just be wanting quiet, yo.
Or simple shit.
I don't really want nothing like
When's your birthday?
December 28th. I got the worst birthday on the planet. My birthday is 3 days. Like
After
for the
Christmas.
times that I did used to celebrate
3 days after
Christmas,
Christmas. Yeah.
I didn't get nothing on my birthday because my mother went hard on Christmas. And then it's like as I got older, it's 3 days after Christmas, so it's like usually the coldest day of the fucking year that day. Or everybody spent their money on Christmas and can't go nowhere. Or
Shit's
they saving their
closed.
money for New Year's because I'm 3 days before 3 days before New Year's.
So nobody wants to go out. My
don't care.
homegirl who is pregnant. I don't talk to her all the time, but I saw her ghetto ass in Orlando, right? She's like, girl, let's go eat. We go eat at this chicken wing spot called Flyers. And we get the Flyers. And I was like, when's your due date? She was like, bitch, motherfucking January 1st. Now I got to get this nigga Christmas gifts and then birthday gifts,
But the
bitch.
gifts, I mean,
I was like, yo,
I'm-
how is that the first thing you thought about? I can't go nowhere because I want to go out. That's what she said.
nah, that's tears. Oh, yeah, pregnant women be sick around New Year's time. They can't do shit, can't
Fuck,
drink. Or
I
their
just want
birthday-
to get back.
But like, that's why I'm not a big I'm not a big gift person because like Christmas. It was one year my mom couldn't get me and my sister nothing for Christmas, and she was crying and shit. And I was like, how fucking sad is this shit? That's why I don't tell my kid like when my kid's little. Santa Claus real. You know what I always tell them? White people don't give people shit for free. That's what I always tell them. One
They
time, I'm dead serious. I said white people. The problem with like all these holidays are supposed to be holy days. Nothing's holy about these fucking days, right? All these days subconsciously make kids not accept responsibility at young ages. Well, I wouldn't say responsibility. You put them in this fucking mindset where you telling them that all of this mystical shit is real, which it ain't, right? Because I hated the fact that like Santa Claus, why everybody gotta sit on this nigga lap, right? Like, why does everybody gotta sit on this nigga lap? No, dead ass. So we gotta.
Don't take away the innocence.
No, I don't
It's
know.
getting
Fuck that
it's getting
innocent
What
shit.
innocence though?
Fuck that innocent shit. We don't know who did the background check for this nigga to sit in the middle of the mall
Let's
to have
look it
all
up.
of these kids. We can't find that out. We're not gonna be able to.
We got to.
If you go to Sears, right? Do Sears even exist anymore?
Yeah, it does.
Yo, I
It's
saw
bankrupt
Sears when I was in Florida.
Yeah.
In Altamont, shout out to people that live down there. Cause I was like, God damn, is it open?
So look, right? So look, one time, and like we played pause. I said to my son, right? I said, if I told everybody in the hood that I was giving them shit, you know, just one day, I'm gonna give everybody in the hood something. All the kids, right? All the kids something. But the only stipulation to me giving them
You gotta
something is
sit
they
on my
gotta come
lap.
sit on my lap. He was like, yeah, that's crazy. Like he was
That
like,
is
that's
true.
That's crazy.
That is kind of wild.
so
It
so
sounds
my
nasty.
so look, so my
Comes
thing
down
is,
your chimney. You have to leave cookies out for him.
First of all, my mom used to go through the whole. Let me tell you, I didn't have no fucking chimney.
I'm
That's
really
what my
trying to
mother
figure
used
this
to
out.
do.
Fire
We had a
escape?
fire escape.
Yep, there you go.
So she used to be like, "Oh, he climbed down the fire escape," and she used to bite the cookie and leave the note. Hey Wayne, I came, but da 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 da. See you next year. I got you everything you wanted. Until one day, I caught her and her fucking cousin wrapping them gifts. That was one of the mad. I was so furious. man. I was so furious when I found out that Santa Claus wasn't real.
How old were you?
I was like 9.
Damn, that's late.
That's not bad.
late.
That's not
I
bad.
was no, I was like, I had to be no. Nah, let me think. I might have been 7, because my cousins is older than
Those 2
yeah. I
years
was
make a
like
difference.
7.
We just had this conversation with
Because
Ryan.
one of my cousins, she is a year older than me, and the other one's 2 years older than me. Those are the first 2 girls, right? So we in the house, and I kept saying, I'm like, I think it was Genesis. When Genesis came out of some shit, I said, yo,
Sega
I'm
Genesis.
going to catch this nigga. I kept telling them, like, I'm going to catch him.
I want that.
I'm going to catch him, right? Because they going hard. My mother doing all the extra shit. I'm the only kid. I'm her only kid.
He said they go hard.
They going hard. These niggas is doing the yo. She really telling me that this nigga's flying on top of.
Gotta
the roof
leave
and
the
climbing
cookies
down the
there.
fire escape.
Not the fire escape.
Bro.
I'm sorry, I never had a New York Christmas like that.
Listen, I fucking come out the I think it was like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. I got up.
Saying the time.
I walked in the living room and it was her and my cousin Ricky, and they was putting shit. I was like, yo, if you'd have seen my face, yo, I was sick. She read like, oh no, he ain't get here yet. I went and woke my cousins up. I was like, y'all gotta get up. I'm like, yo, y'all gotta get up, yo. I'm like, yo, they lying to us. I'm like, they lying. They
It's some bullshit.
no, for real. I ain't cried, but I was like, yo, these niggas is lying. Like, they really telling us that this nigga's real. And that's why I always told my kids,
He said he ain't here yet.
once I got to a certain age, I tell my kids, I'm like, it's
We
like
bought
Santa Claus. I said white people don't give nobody, specifically black people, anything for free. And then one time, like, we was in LA, right? We was in LA on Christmas. We was in a hotel. And my daughter, my youngest daughter, she was like 4. So we was going to the Laker game. We went to the, matter of fact, was it? We went to the Laker game that day, right? It was Lakers when they played the Clippers. Well, I took them to the Laker game and all that shit. So we in the hotel. My daughter, she said, Daddy, is Santa Claus, she said, Santa Claus gonna bring me some? So I looked at her mother, I said, I'm telling her, I don't give a fuck. I'm telling her. I said, man, don't no white man. Yeah, I went crazy. She looked at me, she said, he just can't get in hotels. That's what she said. She's like, he just can't get in hotels, and walked off.
I love that.
Nah, you can't get her with that now though. Now she like I'd rather my oldest daughter calls me a black supremacist.
Damn, a black
She calls me a
supremacist?
black supremacist.
I ain't gonna lie. I took
You
that
gonna be black
turn.
supremacist.
But I think white people really fucked me up. See, when you grow up mixed, you be having real identity issues because you don't know what team you on for real. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
crazy.
Not even kidding. Because my dad, mind you,
Mm-hmm.
the Jews are down bad right now. Let's all be clear. We know it, okay? It's just the truth. Then Jewish people be in my mentions like, why aren't you celebrating your heritage? I'm like, I've been a whole nigga on the show you've been listening to for 4 years. One little thing goes on.
They don't accept niggas though.
They don't.
Right.
So, which is really the difficult thing with my father, right? Because my parents are still married. They've been together. And my dad, he loved to tell my fucking cousins the story. You know, they offered me money for abortion. I said, no. I love Jewel. And my mom's name is Jewel. But he
Right.
was like, all his friends, he said he lost friends. He said, and I guess no one took it serious.
Yeah.
He's like, wedding. He said his friends weren't showing up. And then my mom even said,
Damn.
when I was born, she said some of their wives came and she said they were looking so close to see what you look like. And I had to scream, don't worry, she's light. And she said she was so pissed. And a reason I think I grew up kind of confused is because my parents were putting me in all these really good schools. My life happened in reverse.
Yeah.
My parents had a lot of money and then lost all their money from the stock market crash,
Right.
foreclosure, just terrible shit happening.
Right.
But I mean, I grew up when we lived in Miami when I was real young. I mean, there was a driver that would take me to school. My mom ain't feel like it.
That's crazy.
I know. And then fast forward to my parents losing money, like my mom had to pawn something for my prom dress and I noticed it. She's like, oh no, it's just because your father needs to do a little bit of something. And then, because you want to keep up what your kid thinks they
Yeah.
have. And then I went to these super rich schools, so they wanted to keep up with the Joneses because nothing's worse than your kid feeling like shit. But basically, when I say shit was really confusing, not until I had a boyfriend, and like my first boyfriend, I lived with him, I was 18, he was black. He was like, bro, we are sitting down and watching Shaka Zulu because your black ass needs
Oh, you
to.
used to watch Shaka? Yo, my mother, they made us watch Shaka Zulu.
But my mom like never not let me know I was black. It was just the
Right.
confusing part of like what I was surrounded with. And we laugh about it now because she's like you were the only black kid in the neighborhood. And none of your friends lived in the neighborhood. My friends was in the project. My mom didn't even. She was like, "Tell them to all come over here." She was like, "Please don't go over there because this shit
No, that's
hood
tears.
over there." And like and I had a big house, and they'd all be in the pool and chilling. And in the South, they got them big rooms, the bonus room.
Yeah, right.
And man, like it didn't even hit me until then. Like even with Mandy, like we'll joke about it. Mandy and I were friends at 15, and she was like, "You had the movie theater in your house," and like it didn't hit me that I was the quote unquote rich kid, or I would get embarrassed by it. And now it's crazy because it totally happens in reverse. I didn't even get my father couldn't afford to even put me in college, so I had a sugar daddy and a boyfriend who was paying for it, and then I dropped out so I could make some extra bread, and like. Now I do all of it on my own. And my mom, I almost resented her for a while. We went to therapy together because she was a housewife. And there was a few moments, and I feel so guilty for it now, where I was like, well, what the fuck does she know? Like, you didn't make no money on your own. So like, you don't know anything. Now I have to work like this. You know what I'm saying? And my father was very ashamed that he couldn't give me that same life. But now it's crazy because he's so proud that like, I really don't need a nigga.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Like my dad told me up until like the last 2 or 3 years, like, is he a doctor? Is he a lawyer? You got to marry somebody. You got to marry somebody rich. And I'm like, Daddy, I'm going to be rich.
Right. Well, you got the hustle in you from them. But that's so
for real. It's crazy.
But see, that's the thing, right? Because people always look at Judaism as a nationality when it's not.
I
It's
know.
a faith, right? But the thing about it is, that's why I was so big on, I don't like the whole Santa Claus shit. Period. Even people, Santa Claus is black. Santa Claus is not fucking real, right? But when I look at, even with Jesus, right? You know how many people was like, there's a nation raised to praise white people, essentially.
Of course.
You get what I'm saying? And that's the problem I had, because I'm also not like, well, Jesus is like everybody trying to claim some shit where I'm like, I don't want to go deep dive into religion because that's a whole nother conversation. But it's like people, like, you know how when people use drugs to take their mind off of what reality is? I feel like the lie on like, well, not necessarily a lie, because of course, as your parents, they don't want you to know that this shit might not last forever. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they trying to hold shit from you, but that's only because they trying to protect you.
Yeah.
Essentially, I don't want to, not that I always want to protect my kids, but I want you to know how real shit is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want you to know that, like, yeah, if something was to happen to me and you do get a couple dollars, if you run through that shit and don't take care of it, you gonna be fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, people laugh at the guy or the girl that's on the corner that's strung out on whatever they getting high or they drinking. They were once young as well. You know what I'm
Not
saying?
even that, like, I was that person too. I used to use the term like crackheads to be talking about people and shit like that because I just had no concept. And honestly, I have bad days where I'm not like I don't have an addictive personality or like a heavy drug user. Like I'll do some party drugs, you know what I'm saying? I'd be like, let's do a little Molly. Like I'm that bitch. but I think about people that like when you get to that place where you're looking at somebody like they're shooting up or whatever, and it's like, fuck, bro, like that could be me. What if I have one bad? A lot of people are a few months away from a paycheck. From losing it, a few paychecks away from being broke or homeless. And when you think about that reality and that judgment that you could pass on somebody, like you just never know. And it's hard because I watched my parents go through it. They were never at the point where they were homeless, but they went from having a 7-bedroom house to an apartment and, 2-3 cars to one, sharing one. Or even health, things like that. And so now I just see the value in it. And my mom never had a job. And around 64, 65, she was like, I think I'm gonna work at the Gap or something. I was like, Mom, I'm like, people are gonna be funny carrying the Gap. Because I don't even get it. But right. That was really what she felt like she had to do. And it's crazy when you just think of jets or people with money and all this and it's gone. And granted, sure, I could blame my father for making bad decisions, but like, no one knew that crash would happen, and that's how people were making money. That's how he was rich off of a stock market, so that's what he thought it was.
Life happens. I mean, like, yo, it's because like me growing up in the hood is like crackheads is just like drug addicts. Period is just like characters. You know what I mean? Like they real characters. Like there's a crackhead in my neighborhood named Whammy. This motherfucker had like a house he made in the middle of the hood, like. Where he just like, he used to fix everybody bikes and shit. Like he could fix cars. Like now when you get older, I be like, damn, why Whammy ain't never, you know what I mean? Like Whammy could have had his own mechanic shop. But Whammy really like my man
Maybe
used to
he did. Maybe he was
He might have, you know what I'm saying? But I think like, that's maturity. But I ain't gonna lie, I've seen crackheads do some funny shit. I would tell you, I think who I told this shit? I think I told Charlamagne this shit. This crackhead sold my homies a a ES300 Lexus for $60.
Oh my God, you told me that story too.
I told you, right? Yeah.
That story is so insane.
No, it's correct. So this crackhead, was it Whitey? It was a bunch of different. Nah, bro.
Is it Whitey?
I ain't gonna lie, bro. If I bring anybody up here that I grew up with, bro, we tell you how our neighborhood was as kid, you're not gonna believe it. Like you wouldn't believe it. So like
That could be a show.
no, real shit. Yeah, let's put that to the side. Let's put that to the side. But this dude, he came to the he had an ES300. It's crackhead. At the time, like all my homies that was selling crack, they was like 15 years old. I think I might have been the youngest one. I was like 13. I wasn't selling crack with them, but I was just around him. And they he was like, yo, y'all wanna buy a Lexus? So they like, man, you lying. He's like, how much? He like $60. He like, my man like, you lying. He like, we looked in the car, it was a Junior Mafia CD in there. We like, who car is this? He like, it's my wife's car. He like, this ain't your fucking wife's car. She don't listen to no Junior Mafia. He like, man, y'all wanna buy the car, what? Them niggas bought the car, yo. This nigga sold 15-year-olds a vehicle for $60. And of course they crashed it. Niggas, 15 these niggas ain't, I don't think these niggas ever drove a car in their life. Got a car and crashed that shit like maybe 2 hours later.
Whose car was it?
We don't know.
Still don't know.
Still don't know. They crashed it, the police came, took it or some shit. But listen, I could make a whole, I could talk for hours about just my neighborhood. Like remember I told you about my man, the one that helped he start his cooking business and all that? Mm-hmm. Yo, these niggas, the police, you know how that you be seeing now, the police be taking these kids' dirt bikes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like 16 years old, right? The police took his dirt bike. They broke into the precinct and stole their dirt bikes back. This is the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life.
That's an amazing story.
It is, but these niggas could have died. Like, you know, like these niggas, now all of them, they didn't go to jail for that, but they all end up going to jail for 10 plus years.
I love that fucking video, that cop taking that dirt bike
and he fell.
running it, and he fell, and it was like, that's what you get.
Yeah, that's what you get. But no, but they always
like,
take out dirt bike.
It was like cheerleaders on the fucking block.
They tried to kill one of my homies on a dirt bike. They hit him like he was on a curve. He wasn't even riding a dirt bike, but he used to take them on chases every day. And they jumped the curve and hit him, broke his foot and all that shit.
That's why you really need community police.
No, absolutely. But
you know who you need to sit with?
Who?
DeRay McKesson. You know who that is? Mm-mm. He's known as the blue vest guy. Mm-hmm. And he, was that in Ferguson when he got on his knees? But he's an amazing activist. Yeah. And just very, he's so smart when it comes to, yeah.
He's still a cop right now?
Is he a cop? No, sorry. Is it a guy? Yeah. He's not a cop.
Oh, yeah. You said who?
The blue vest, DeRay McKesson. He's known for his blue vest.
Yeah, I know him.
He would be great to have on here because them hood stories and him just understanding like policing and shit. We've been talking recently. And every time he talks about working on these court cases, he's like, bruh, they lie on these niggas so much.
No, cops is crazy. Cops is really, like, I done had police violate me, yo. Like, I'm talking about, like, violate like it ain't nothing. Like they'll treat you a kid like you not nothing. Like my best friend made a movie called The Elephant's Gown. And this movie was based on, he used to always have these dreams about this old lady that was in a staircase because he lived in the projects that would tickle him and shit. She would chase him and tickle him. So basically he used the concept. No, listen, he used the concept to tell the
Don't tell me he made tickled.
No. He used the concept of the old lady tickling as a metaphor for like how our fear of kids growing up around the police, because we always think the police is on us, because they usually are for nothing. One time, me and him we used to ride bikes and shit. We was riding our bikes, and I'm talking about these cops, these detectives, these niggas is grown men. Like when you're a kid. And you think about how adults treated you and you become an adult, you be like, what the fuck was these people doing?
Right.
We were 15, maybe 15, 14 years old at the time. These cops jumped out on us, pulled a gun on me, threw him up against the wall. I'm talking about slammed this nigga on the wall crazy. You'd have thought he was a full-blown criminal. He's a 14-year-old kid. He's the same age as my son right now. Ugh. Threw him up on the wall. It went in his pocket and he had a wrench. And they was like, what the fuck is this wrench for? He like to fix my bike. And this is only when that's 14. I got 100 stories about police doing shit.
A fucking
100. I'm talking about like 100 stories of police doing shit. And like when it comes to police, because there is cops that I know that are good cops. I actually got one of my cousins, he's more like my uncle. He was a cop. I didn't know he was a cop till I was older. But like what is it? The disconnect of police and people in the neighborhood is crazy, yo.
I know.
Like my mom then literally had to jump in front of some cops before for me. Like for real, like y'all not gonna kill my son. Like for real, like jump in front of it, like 40 of these niggas. And was like, whatever y'all gonna do to my son, y'all gonna do to me first. Y'all not doing nothing to my son. And this when I was like 22. And it was all from a misunderstanding from this cop that just was talking I'm talking about talking crazy to me.
It is hard. Like people, that rapper or some YouTuber who came out and was like, y'all just gotta respect the cops. Y'all saw that video? You just gotta shut up and respect the cops. You ain't gotta be all up in their face. I've done that before too. All yo, like whatever he was saying, black dude. But like, it's not easy when someone's talking shit to you. And honestly, I have obviously like girl privilege, light skin privilege, whatever. One of the last times I went to jail, it's Florida, so it just happens all the time. When I was in the car, I went like 7 miles over the speed limit, but I think he just recognized my car from like some shit the last time. And I remember he was talking to me so bad. And I was just like, fuck it. Not like I was drunk, but I had went out. I wasn't wasted, but like, I really was like, fuck it. I was like, you so fucking happy to pull me over. I don't give a fuck. I was like, because guess what? I was like, you got to get your little quota. I'm going to get the fuck out tomorrow, and I don't give a fuck. I was like, you got some balls on you to be talking to me like this. I was like, you ain't shit. I was going off. And when I sat in the car window, I felt so guilty because I know, one, he couldn't hit me. I know he couldn't do anything to me, but it's just because in my head, it was some white people shit. Like, that's how white people be talking.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Like, but it's very hard. So when we watch videos, I say all that to say of people going off, like, you know how demeaning somebody's being to you. Like, sometimes it's scary to just submit and silence yourself just so you can stay alive.
Yo,
we got to think of all that.
Yo, the cops.
We have to go through these steps when a human is cussing us the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because of the last few videos we've been seeing, which don't even let me get started on what I believe the news wants us to see with black bodies and police and dying.
Right.
It's like almost training us, I believe, to like break your spirit. Like, this is a whole thing I have about it.
That's a fact.
I really believe that. Like, this might take it too far, but you ever watched a video of an elephant getting their spirit broken?
Oh, absolutely.
How they become docile?
No, but look, do you know that? But
I believe that's
they got a book called Kill Them Before They Grow, right? Elephants, this is I'm happy that you said that because a dude older than me told me that concept a long time ago. An elephant is the strongest fucking animal in the animal kingdom. At any point where they feel like they don't want to take nobody's shit, they don't have to. But the thing about them is that when they're very young, they put that little shit on their leg. And when they young, they can't break it. So, and remember that the elephants are really big. Their mind, they really big on memory. Very, very big. I've seen elephants that haven't seen each other. I've seen videos of elephants that haven't seen each other in 10 years. And when they see each other, they wrap they trunks around each other and hug and like weep because they're happy to see each other. They put this on them, and as they get older and they keep them in with circus or zoo, whatever the case may be, they start to subconsciously believe they can't break that chain. That's how a lot of us are mentally. No, it's a fact. And I say that by police. I used to feel like it was one thing. There was a breaking. People always say, what was my breaking point about me saying that I wanted to get out the hood? It's not because I wanted to have a lot of money. It's not because I wanted to be all this successful. It was one time where we me and my friends decided to do our block day. So everybody who don't know, the 119 on my name stands for 119th Street, from 119th to Lexington. And me and my friends spent a lot of time because we wanted to do something. So there was a kid from our neighborhood that got killed at the parade the year before, and he was kind of like the spirit of our block. Like the one kid everybody loves. He played basketball, that shit. It tore these kids up. So we planned. We go to the fucking free clinic. We giving out condoms that day. We went and bought jump ropes and candy. We giving out everything. We threw a fucking free basketball tournament. You familiar with who Kemba Walker is?
Kemba Walker?
Kemba Walker is a starting point guard in the NBA. but he's one of my good friends that I grew up with. They best friends. This when he was a kid. He played in our tournament, all that. We did all of that shit. And at the end of the night, a nigga got shot. And when this kid got shot, I don't know who this kid was, but I watched this kid die, right? I sat there and I watched this kid take his last breaths, like right in front of my face. And it broke something in me mentally where I like all of that hood shit, it like broke. Like it just was like, this is not it, right? So that mixed with the police shit, because dealing with the police, they do try to break your spirit. One time, the police stopped me. That stop and frisk shit. I was going across the street to go get something to eat for my mom's. And you know how you in a car and a person is going to walk and you tell them go ahead and walk, right? Because you're going to let them walk and then you'll drive. They told me to go ahead and walk. And when they told me to go ahead and walk, then they sped their car up. And when
so like almost try to hit you?
Yeah. So when they sped their car up, like I jumped back on the curve. So when they get out, he was like, you tried to run? I said, run from what? You told me to cross the street. Why the fuck would I run? I'm like, you told me to cross, like, then you push the car up, then telling me I'm running. I'm like, I'm not running. So then they like, where you going? I said, I'm going to the store to get something to eat for my mother. So they was like, they started checking for my tattoos. They was like, you in a gang? I was like, I don't have time to be in a gang. I got 2 jobs, right? So then they was like, they looked at my tattoo right here. It say death before dishonor. They was like, death before dishonor? That's a gang term. I said, it's also a term that Marines use, right? I just had something. I'm a nigga that got something to say for everything.
Me too.
So then they was looking at me and shit, and then on my neck, I got a crown. So they was like, you a Latin king? I said, I'm black. So they was like, the Latin kings are a mixed ethnic group now. You don't have to be Puerto Rican no more to be a Latin king.
You know, to be fair, you know, we got Afro-Latino, we know that now.
But look, so listen to how they could try to break you. So I said, no, I'm not a Latin king. He said, what's that crown on your neck for? I said, because all black men are kings. Them niggas started dying like it was showtime at the fucking Apollo. When I tell you they laughed at me, laughed dead in my face. They laughed dead in my fucking face. So then it was like, they started checking, they looking at my tattoos and shit. They asking me all this shit. They like, what's this on your arm? I said, that's the first friend I ever had in my life. He got murdered when he was 17 years old. So then they like, They said, you sure you're not in the gang? I said, listen, I know y'all want me to be in the gang. I said, maybe if I had 1 job and not 2, I'd try it. Because then I have more time on my hands. So then they went in my pocket and was like, what's that? I was a fucking Snapple bottle. Like, so this is what I'm saying. Think about what I see on one side where I try to do something for my neighborhood, and as much respect as me and my friends had, somebody still felt like, fuck it, I'm going to catch this nigga, whatever that kid died for, they still did that. Then on the other hand, I got to deal with the police. You think you know how mentally
you
draining
talking
it is?
to distant strangers that
That's what I'm saying. You know how mentally draining that is to have to live in a place where
it'll happen either way.
It'll happen either way.
Did you watch 2 Distant Strangers?
No.
I only watched it because shout out to Van. He
won
his award.
I haven't.
But it basically
watched it yet.
I won't tell the ending, but you know it's like Groundhog Day for a black man, where every day he wakes up, he's like trying to not get killed by the police, so he keeps trying to relive this day. But it's like no matter what he does, if he walks left, if he walks right, if he doesn't start like smoking when he leaves the apartment, like something is going to happen. And I think that as a society, our spirit got broken for real. Especially not like we haven't seen it so many times, but you know, with George Floyd, like that's why I don't give a fuck about riots or like people that are like, well, I don't like the peaceful protest shit.
Yeah.
You know, Mandy and I got into it because I went on Horrible Decisions and put an episode out by myself, maybe 12 minutes. And I was like, I don't give a fuck what y'all smash up. I don't care. Go do it. Y'all stronger than me. Like, this is, you know, soldiers die in war. And I don't give a fuck. If right now it happened again and this was on the street and our fucking glass got smashed in, yeah, it's a black-owned business, but it is what it is. There's some white people that also have offices here too, and maybe y'all thought it was theirs. Right. I don't give a fuck. I understand why these things happen, and they're supposed to happen. Don't shoot niggas. Right. Don't kill niggas. Don't put your foot on their neck, and maybe shit won't get fucked up. Yeah. That's exactly why, honestly, I really think Joe Biden won. I really think people were scared as hell. They was like, we are going to lose this damn country.
Oh, yeah. It should have been. But, like, another thing is like when you see, damn, where was I at with this shit? When I see like all the, you know, the rioting or whatever the case may be, right? It's like this. I be looking at like how people, damn, what the fuck was I going to say? It was something that I really, yo, I hate that shit, but I really can't get it. I'm going to find it.
Someone's getting old.
I am, because tomorrow I won't remember what the fuck I had on today. But when people get into these, you know, the rioting or whatever the case may be, right? This was the point I was going to make about George Floyd. When you think back to slavery, right? You seen Django before? Mm-hmm. All right. Remember that scene when Leonardo DiCaprio was talking about how the guy who was the slave used to shave his dad?
Yes.
And he said if my dad would have did the shit to me that I seen him do to this slave, I would have been slit his throat. But he's like, we made him submissive because that part of his brain, that part of his head, where he cracked him in his head, where it made him submissive now to where he had an indentation where he knew, right, not to fucking raise up and do nothing. Now we at a point where we've always been subconscious, like we've always had examples of what not to do. Every time there was a black person who was a person who could possibly lead, what do? Murder them right in front of us. You wanna know why? Don't ever raise up. Same way they used to do slaves. They used to take a slave and put in front of his kids, either kill him or emasculate him, do something to embarrass him, demean him, fuck him up, so that the little boy that's watching says, yeah, I'ma listen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be submissive. And this is why, how long we been doing this? How long we been on?
A while.
A while. All right.
Really?
So yeah, we've been on a while. So
I felt like an hour and a half. Is it more?
147.
That's a lot.
All right. So now, I will finish with this, right? Patrice O'Neal, great comedian. I was watching this stand-up that he did, and this shit was so funny. Because he was talking about Obama. He's like, man, white people, I guess at the time Obama was still in office. He's like, man, we'd have been on your side with saying he was fucking up if y'all would just shut up about this shit, right? So he said, because I thought by now I at least have a white wife, man. He was like, he said,
oh yeah, I saw that.
You see that shit? And he was like, yeah, man. He's like, go downstairs and make me a sandwich before I go outside and sell your husband, right? I was just like, that shit was so funny, but it was also dark because it was true. Think about that.
We thought we'd be outside.
Yeah, it's like you think, no, like that's what they would do. Like, man, you know what? I feel like selling this nigga today. Fuck that. Like, let me get rid of it. And that's why every time I have like certain conversations.
That was dark, but great.
Yeah, it was great.
It was
that's what's so great about comedians, because they can say shit that's fucked up but make it funny. And what I was gonna say is like, that's why, you know, for all the conversations we had earlier today and on the pod and conversations going forward, I can't do nothing but try to uplift my people. Now, you being my people or not is predicated on how you fucking act.
I'm trying my best, Wayno, because some of these bitches deserve it. But you know what? I said to myself the other day,
What?
This girl was on my page talking about me like a dog. And I clicked on her, and I really wanted to do that shit that
DJ
Mustard was doing.
Oh, man.
And I was like, you know what? I hope she get money one day so she ain't got to live like this. But you keep being a little evil bitch. You ain't never going to get no money. And you're going to have to keep wearing wigs like that.
Hurt
but
people
you gotta,
hurt people.
They really do. And like the last thing you really had me thinking about, I was on the plane, and I've been flying a lot. So I've been getting upgraded a lot, right? And you know how I go. Like, it's the frequency, it's the MQMs, the dollars you spend, and whatever.
Absolutely.
So I haven't really had a flight to Florida yet. LA, they'll put a bitch in Delta Comfort. But Florida, when I'm seeing my family, or Atlanta, it's always first class. I'm on the way back home, and I'm watching Judas and the Black Messiah, right? And the lady sitting next to me almost was acting like I wasn't supposed to sit next to her. I did look a little crazy. But bitch, you just never know.
Right.
And when I sat down and I started looking at it, I started crying. Because Fred Hampton, like...
Nah, he did the guy
did an amazing job.
He did an
Daniel,
amazing job, yeah.
Who I think his name is. But it really was funny because... you know when he starts making people talk in that one scene?
Yeah.
I started doing it, and she took off her headphones because she thought I was talking to her. And I was like, maybe you need to put it on.
Right.
You know, I was like, black people up nowadays, but I was also drunk. And she was looking at me crazy. And I was thinking to myself, like, when he said, you know, like, if we die for the people like that, what a great way to go. And that's really it. Like, they really wanted to kill leaders, make great people. It's just like now, when you're doing well, just enough. We like a come-up story, but not too good. And that shit is the worst. And that's why I try to celebrate every win for everyone.
Yeah.
Just the little things and the big things. And like,
That's a fact.
we have to, because someone's going to be right there that can't wait to shit on you and put you down. A girl came in my fucking face at a restaurant I go to all the time called Lucienne. And she told me, congrats on my show, Sex Sells, right? And she was like, I saw it was the first show hosted by a woman about, what was it about sex? Because, you know, there's a girl named Carly, and she does Slut Ever, and her show was first on Viceland. Do you know who she is? I was like, no, I don't. And I also know, like you were just about to say, my show is the first show about business hosted by a Black woman. Whether it's talking about sex or not, it's the first one, which is insane, on cable. That shouldn't be the first one, but it is. To the point where Fuse almost thought, is this really the only one by a woman that wasn't just about like the market or whatever? Is it truly the first one about business? And like, just her coming up to me trying to shit on me. Congrats. But didn't you know there's someone else? Because I saw you saying it was the first, but was it? Fuck you, bitch.
Yeah. No, they love them backhanded
They
compliments.
love to just kick you.
Well, I just feel like anybody who has any negative energy, any things silly to say, fuck you. I mean, you know, we didn't look at any tweets this week, but I did allude to some of those things this week. Like I feel like if you have enough energy to be negative, then you got a little bit to be positive.
Did you see the thing I tweeted about what someone told me about you?
No.
You really didn't see it?
No. What was it?
I passed a girl when I was walking to get my nails done who podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, girl, I've been wanting to come to your studio, but like, you know, everybody record there and some people don't fuck with. You saw that tweet?
Yeah.
What
Y'all, a
happened?
girl told me this morning that we have people in the studio that doesn't like everyone, or not everyone likes. I said, who? She said, I don't know. Wayno. Verbatim, I said,
Bitch, everybody love Wayno. That's exactly what I said.
and now I
'Cause
wish that was his podcast name.
Oh yeah, I said I wish that was your podcast.
Everybody
name. I
loves
could not
Wayno.
believe she said, you know, it's people that don't like each other in there, and a lot of people don't like them. And I was like, who? I honestly thought she was talking about Charlamagne.
Yeah.
I don't know, like Wayno. And I'm like, everybody like Wayno, bitch.
But I don't. But listen, it's cool
People
because
just had to say something.
there's-
And what was it? I think it was Sam, Rory's fiance. Rory's girl said she just really wanted to talk. She just had to say something.
Yeah, she had to say something.
It just made no fucking
But it's cool
sense.
because I just want to wholeheartedly say from the bottom of my heart, when people say shit like that, fuck you, fuck your moms, fuck everybody around you, fuck your grandmoms, your kids, your dog, fuck your diplomas.
Dog, bitch.
No, seriously, fuck your diplomas, fuck anything you feel that you achieved. Fuck anything that you thinking of achieving. If you feel that way about me, fuck you, and I just keep moving in life.
Doesn't make sense.
But that's fine. Look, no, it's
Oh,
fine.
great, you got a studio, but don't everybody record. And there's some people that like Wayne. Wait, what, bitch?
It's okay.
Lord.
It's okay. There's no. You guess what? There's
That
no
was
room
funny.
for you here.
That was
You know
so
what I mean?
funny.
There's no room for you here.
Fuck your
We will stay
diploma.
segregated from you.
Yo.
Yeah, for
But-
real. Looks like you not here, bro.
But
I'll be mad
Weezy,
too.
I have to say thank you, my sister. I love you.
Love you
Thank
too.
you for coming on with me today. I feel like this is just how me and you talk anyway.
I know.
You know what I mean?
We
So
do need the clip of the do you like music? That gotta be the clip.
What do you like music?
When you say, I feel like every time we talk is about
Dick.
fucking dick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Like
that was
music?
that was funny. That
Alex,
was
make
funny.
that the clip.
Right. Yeah, Alex gotta get that together. But thank you, Weezy. I appreciate
Welcome.
you so much.
I'm so glad you're here.